Hi, everybody. This is Claire Church, and this is Pete Lewis standing next to me, as I'm sure you know. And he told me I had to do the intro this time
Yeah.
about 4 seconds ago.
Are you nervous?
I'm so nervous. No, I'm not nervous at all. But we are really happy to have Andy Weyl and Holly DeHoog with us today. We've gotten to play with both of them. Most recently for us to play with Holly on our Expeditions Plus One series at the Muse, and she was a delight. And Andy's like one of the most fun piano players I've played with.
And excuse me.
Well, I was an expeditionist too, but Pete was not present.
That's
I was going to say, Andy, you were one of the very first musicians I met, and my parents were living in Boulder, and we would come visit, and I saw you and Mark at the Mez, and I don't remember.
It's a good thing that you stayed on.
Yeah. I was just blown away. I was like, what? This is Boulder? There's like these great jazz musicians here. So that was way back when.
The mezzanine was a very good experience for me.
Yeah.
5 days a week,
That
2 hours a day,
cool.
and then sometimes running off to play an evening gig. But that gig only went from 5 to 7 or 5:30 to 7:30 or something. And
That's
gigs used to start at 9.
Mm-hmm.
We used to play till 1.
Mm-hmm.
You remember those days?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we used to play in clubs, you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun.
I remember wearing a tuxedo to a lot of gigs. A lot of gigs were tuxedo gigs. The ones I did.
I own a tuxedo, and I haven't had to wear it very much in the last few years.
No,
But
I think the tux thing has sort of gone out of fashion unless you play with the symphony or something, which obviously I haven't been doing too much of that lately.
In general, how are you guys holding up in this situation? You know, no gigs, and Holly as a, is it official term, hairdresser?
Hairstylist.
Hairstylist. I mean,
Hairstylist, yeah.
either.
Well, the money valve is turned off, so I'm doing okay so far, except for there's no money.
Oh.
But other than that, I'm fine. I have a good sense of humor.
That's kind
Several of my clients have offered to pay me for a few haircuts in advance, so I've been getting a couple of checks in the mail now and then. So it'll be okay once I get going back. I'll have to work all that off. So
we that's part of why we were doing this, because so musicians, and for you both music and hairstyling, your income is completely gone for most people, for people who just play or do what you do. And so
yeah.
hoping that people will donate. We have this very high-tech sign here that you can see, shows Venmo, or you can go to our website, which we hope is back up. It's been down today, which doesn't even surprise me, honestly, given that everyone in the entire universe right now is online. But you can definitely go to Venmo and at Muse Performance Space, and we are giving donations from these videos to the musicians that we interview. See if we can do something good in the world. I was going to say, Holly, by the way, my lady that does my hair, I'm going to call her and ask her for a hair color consult. Like, hey, tell me what I should order online, what color to look like what you do.
You color your hair?
And I color my hair in case anyone's wondering. And then
Good luck with that, but I wouldn't recommend it doing those things at home.
well, I've done it before. I've done it before.
Oh, okay.
Either that or everybody gets to see what my real hair color is, and I don't think I'm ready for that at all. So there we are. Anyway, more for
Well, Claire, I just want to say, I could probably pan to it somehow. I have a poster up on my wall that's actually behind where the camera is there, but it's a poster from a CD that you and I are on together. Rumble Seats, all tuned up.
Oh yeah, that was a fun little CD.
Yeah,
That was a fun.
with Marianne Moore singing away. And of course, it's Byron Hamer's. Byron Hamer's was his band. It was fun. I think Pete might have played some of that too. You might have subbed for some Byron, maybe.
Alternated, but I didn't make the cut for the recording. They chose Claire.
Well, because you played alto then some of the time, Pete?
I played alto on that band, and so did Pete.
You did.
I did.
We both.
So did Pete.
Yeah, I think Jerry Noonan was playing Barry.
He was Barry, yeah, but I was wondering what would happen if Jerry was not available. Maybe Claire played Barry on that too. I don't know.
Alto.
Yeah, sometimes I play Barry, but I love that.
You did.
I love that band. As I got to play lead alto, which was one of my greatest joys. I love playing lead alto, and I didn't.
Anyway, yeah, we're on a CD together. Yay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I mean, part of these interviews too are like to let the listeners know is like how you guys got started playing music, maybe some of your background, where you're from. Maybe Holly, we can start with you. Like maybe where are you from and what got you into jazz singing?
Well, I moved to Boulder from California, Southern California, when I was really young. I was about 20-something, 21 maybe. And, well, I got divorced and I had a kid, a 2-year-old. And I raised 3 kids by myself, and then I decided I needed a hobby. So I started taking vocal lessons, and it changed my life. It changed my voice, my speaking voice, as well as my singing voice. Oh. And so I just decided I always liked jazz because my mom used to sing in the kitchen all the time, those old Billie Holiday tunes. So that's why I picked jazz. And because it's fun and everybody gets to take a turn. That's what I like about jazz. Everybody contributes, and it's really cool.
Who was your voice teacher?
And that's it.
Who was your voice teacher?
My first voice teacher was actually Linda Llewellyn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I studied with her, and then I studied with Divvy Nelson, who taught me vocal exercises. She's the one that really changed my voice. My speaking voice changed after 2 weeks of those vocal exercises. And then I studied with a guy named Casey Collins, who was a character. He was from LA or something, but he was really good too. So every once in a while I would just, take a few lessons from somebody. And then I just started singing. I got my first gig was at Trios, because I went there and I sat in with Billy Toll's band. And the lady that booked the music, Kathy Ardans, followed me outside and asked me if I could bring a band.
Wow.
So I said, sure. And I put together a little quartet. So with the guy that was playing, he was playing for my vocal classes at the time, Paul Catuño.
Oh, yeah.
So we put a little band together. That was my first paying gig. It was the Holly DeHoog Quartet. It was pretty fun.
Well, you are a beautiful singer. I mean, you have such a natural way with phrasing, and it's really obvious that you learned from listening a lot and developing your own voice from listening a lot. So I really enjoyed having you play with our band or sing with our band. I thought it was such a fun night.
It was great.
Yeah, it was really fun. I enjoyed you guys too.
And you also just like exude this really loving, positive force, both on stage and like all the time, which right now I think the world kind of needs.
Mm-hmm.
and then
yeah.
of course,
he exudes that too.
He exudes a positive, loving force all the time. No, he's funny. So now we need to know, where did you come from, Andy, and where did you get started?
And Andy, I just want to say you are one of my favorite jazz piano players.
Oh man,
yeah. Listening to you play because you're so compositional.
Yeah, so inventive.
And you swing so hard, and it just looks like it's just flowing out of you, like it's effortless. I was like, man, I was big like that, But I remember you saying your background was classical. Can you tell us a little bit more about your background?
Well, I mean, I took lessons when I started when I was 8, and I kept going until I was 16, and then I took a hiatus for 2 years, and then had to figure out what the heck I was going to do as far as college was concerned, and so I did a quick crash course again in getting my classical chops together so I could audition at schools all over, and I ended up getting a degree in, as they say, applied piano. It's so useful to have piano that you apply. In any case, it was a major, so I spent 4 hours a day in the studio practicing alone for 4 years and got a degree. But I played some recitals and did that sort of thing. But I started to fool around with improvising pretty early on. I mean, even when I was, really, when I was like 10 or something, I would play songs in 4/4 that were written in 3/4, or play them in minor key, because I just was doing things like that very early on, and then started to improvise to rock and roll and stuff when I was like 14, I think. But the thing that really got me into jazz was really by accident. I really liked the Muddy Waters and Lightning Hopkins and those guys and the blues, and I couldn't figure out how to change from just playing a pentatonic scale, improvising on that, just the simple rock and roll thing, and what those guys were doing. So I went for 6 months to a guy who had been a jazz pianist and now was an arranger. He was arranging for the WDR, the Westdeutsche Rundfunk in Cologne. And for 6 months, I went to him to learn boogie bass and also just how to do that sort of thing. And he showed me, well, you can change the notes when you change the chord. Wow, cool. Anyway, and he started to lend me records, and that's really where it started. He said, "You got to hear this. You got to hear this Jimmy Rushing and Count Basie, and you got to hear who Duke Ellington is, and listen to this stuff. And here's Charlie Parker." I remember my first Charlie Parker experience was that Lucky Thompson was on it too, because it was one of those things from California, and I couldn't hear Charlie Parker. It was too fast for me, way too fast. But I liked Lucky Thompson because it was slower. I could, okay. But I still have one of those records that he lent me, gave me a record, and Holly has it now. It's called The Giants of Jazz, Miles Davis, and the Jazz Giants, I think. Yeah. And it's Monk and Milt Jackson and Kenny Clark and Percy Heath.
That's the one.
And it's just a great.
The red figures walking across the record album cover, right? Yeah.
There were different covers. So the cover I have is different than that. It's just a black and white shot of Miles, I believe, the one that we had. But anyway, so, and that was it, and he showed me how to also, then he started lending me fake music and saying, now copy this. So I had to copy notes and I had to copy chords, and, so I learned a few songs right away. At 16, I learned about 8 songs. I learned Ain't Misbehavin'. I learned, oh God, I can't remember. Love Me or Leave Me or Let Me Be Lonely. Anyway, a bunch of those kind of Honeysuckle Rose, very early on. I got rhythm very early on. And then I didn't do much with it at all because I had to go to music school and study classical music. But there was a friend, in fact, I was just down in Austin seeing him, and I was improvising in Europe, man. I was playing free music almost in Europe. And then when I came to the States, he got me to, he knew I could read these chords. So he'd have me play while he played flute. And I was playing modern dance classes in those days. That's great, because as a pianist, you can just play whatever you want. Just play rhythmical, and that's all. And watch, when they move their arms up or something, just give them a sweep. Or if they need something heavy, give them something heavy so they feel grounded. It's cool. It was fun. And Alex would play in my class, and I'd go and play in Alex's class, and then we'd play a little jazz too. And anyway, that was it, man. And then I got out of college, and I had to make a living. I wasn't going to be playing concert halls. I'm sorry, I'm not that good at classical music. I'm pretty good, but not that good. And so I answered an ad to be in a group, and the group was called Rare Silk, and I got the gig.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It was an ad in the paper, classified. Oh, pianist wanted for jazz group. Okay, I'll go try out. Got the gig. So that's how I became a jazz musician, really, by accident. I didn't mean to, and look at me now.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. How long did you play with Rare Silk?
About a year, and then I did a USO tour with them as well, Far East. That was about 2 months, 2.5 months, something like that.
So where do you guys think this is going? Like, do you think this is going to change the way we all have gigs in the future? Or do you think there's going to be more people coming to gigs because they're like, I didn't realize what I was missing? Or have you thought about that at all? Like,
well, I'm guessing that if people have been shut in, we might be shut in for another 2-3 months, man. We have no idea. We're still in uncharted territory here, so we don't know what's going on. Well, what do you think?
I think they're all going to come out because they're going to be crazy from being inside. And I think that a lot of people really prefer live music. That's just my dream, that they'll all start coming back again.
Yeah.
They're going to miss that regular gig. I had a crowd that would come every Saturday to the Tandoori to hear us play.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be back at it again, but I'm sort of an optimist. So.
But I know that the clubs themselves, I mean, they have to get out of this. I mean, this is a serious problem for, I mean, we're unemployed too, but think of like a club that has to be paying rent to their landlord and their workers. Are the workers going to be willing to come back? I mean, or will they have to find new workers, or how are they going to pay? Yeah, it's all these problems. So I think we might be last on the list of who gets the next work. I think they might have to get themselves back together again before we're playing. But who knows? Because then people will say, well, where's the music? We want the music. The music's what we liked. That's what we came out for.
Well, because of our business model, or possibly lack thereof, it's only about music, so as soon as we're able to do it safely, we're going to start, firing it up as quick as we can, knowing that people might be hurting, and we may have to do some sort of a sliding scale or something. Like, you can come in if you don't have money, pay what you can, because I think people are going to be hurting for a while. But we want to get it. We're counting on 2 months closed, if even without even live streams, probably. But we'll see what happens.
Well, that's the word. I mean, today was the news that the Democratic Convention is moving to August. Today was the news that Wimbledon is canceled. Of course, that's a June event. We know that the French Open, I like tennis, you see, I like to watch it, isn't happening until September, when it normally would happen 2 weeks before Wimbledon. So, these are big changes, and who knows? But like you say, who knows? So I'm ready to go to work.
Sure.
But I have to keep my distance first.
Yeah.
Do you have that you do daily that helps you get through the day? Like, we talked to Bill Copper, and he's got this regime. He wakes up and he has this list, and he follows through with the list, and it's kind of like a set schedule he follows every day, and it kind of keeps him grounded.
He's more disciplined than we are. I just wake up and I go, where am I? And why am I still in bed? I never know what the day's gonna be. I'm kind of a spontaneous person. So I'm like, what'll I do today? Besides go to the grocery store, I better not. I'm not going there. I feel like a robber when I go to the store, because I have to wear mask and gloves, and then carefully take it and drop it off at my dad's, who's 92 and lives on his own. So I've been on the phone with him probably 3 or 4 or 5 times a day now. I mean, we've always connected every day, but 4 or 5 times a day, it's getting to be a bit much.
bless you for that, though.
But I'm just trying to keep an eye on him.
Well, no, you know, it's like every day is a different day. Yesterday was the day I was able to change the calendar from March to April. Woohoo! And wash the sheets.
Yeah.
Today was the day I put new sheets on. Yesterday, I didn't cook. Today I'm going to cook. So, you know, there's something to do.
There's
Yep.
always
I
something.
did a little cleaning today because, you know, you guys you're entering my space, man.
And then there's always those movies. Andy and I, what did we do? We binge watched Chernobyl.
Oh, that's, yes,
So we-
something
hey.
cheerful.
Hey, we don't have it so bad. It's not Chernobyl.
Yes, exactly.
Praise with a tune. Would you play a tune? A tune?
Sure.
You want us to play? Sure.
Which one shall we do?
We'll do your quick,
Line for line?
yes. All right.
This is a song by Jerry Mulligan. It's Line for Lions. And Marianne Moore wrote the lyrics for it. You remember Marianne.
Yeah, sure.
So I got her lyrics, and we're going to sing it for you now.
Sweet.
I'm not going to sing it. You're going to sing it.
He's not going to sing, I promise.
I'd like to hear it.
Somewhere down the road at peace, there's a place that I know you can feel free to blow. Whatever the tune or phase of the moon, it's blue there. Every now and then I find when the wanderlust hits it, I just gotta split. There's nothing to pack, the clothes on my back will do. Getting lost is very hip, it doesn't hurt a bit. Hanging with trees and sky, that's my idea of creature comforts. If you're ever out my way, catch a riff and we'll breeze to whatever we please. Let's seize the day, come out and play with me. Somewhere down the road in peace, there's a place that I know you can feel free to blow. Whatever the tune or phase of the moon, it's cool there. Every now and then I find when the wanderlust hits and I just gotta split. There's nothing to pack, the clothes on my back will do. Getting lost is your best bet. Just take a tip from Chet. Life can be very sweet if you can learn to keep it simple. If you've got a yearn to blow in a mellower mode down the Yammer Road, I know the way. Come out and play with me there. Let's go and hug a tree there and let ourselves just be.
Yay.
Just be.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
Well, before we sign off, do you guys have anything to leave us with, or the listeners?
Well, do what you're supposed to do. Don't go out there wandering about aimlessly.
And don't forget your mask and gloves.
Well, Not necessarily, but keep. What is it? Don't get too close. Don't get too close to me. Don't get too close. What is that song by the Police?
Yeah.
Too close to.
Don't stand too close to
Don't
me.
stand too close, like we're doing.
And stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Don't get in trouble like us.
And you guys carry on.
Okay.
We love you guys.
Thank you
Thank
so much. Can't wait to see you in person.
Bye now.
Yay! Me too.
Me too.